to play. I want to play in your D&D game.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dice Camera Action.
I also just saw the episode name. I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
Isn't this one like Together Forever? Isn't that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Could be a lot of meetings there.
Previously in Dice Camera Action, the Waffle Crew was drawn into Barovia, a dark domain ruled by a vampire named Strahd von Zarovich. Among the stranger things you discovered is that Strahd had the power to basically eavesdrop and command the shadows of Vistani, causing them to animate and behave oddly. And you discovered this because Paulton's shadow began to kind of act on its own accord. And toward the end of your stay in Barovia, during the final confrontation with Strahd, Paulton's shadow broke away and was dispelled. And he has been without his shadow ever since. Recently, the characters were in Citadel Adbar, split up. Paulton and Evelyn together, Diath and Strix together. Paulton and Evelyn were at a dwarven tavern when the darkness seemed to close around them, and they disappeared in a way and found themselves in Strahd's throne room back in Barovia. And
Surprise, surprise!
yes.
Yay.
And moments after returning here to a place familiar to Paulton, you heard footsteps in a hall outside, and the doors opened, and in stepped a svelte, pallid young man with long blonde hair and dressed in a dark purple long coat with a shirt that has kind of the color of marrow to it, with lacy sleeves and a lacy collar. And as he steps toward you, he bowed before you, Paulton, and addressed you as my lord. And you recognize him as the vampire spawn, Escher, one of Strahd's thralls.
I did miss my boo.
Yes. And as he stands in the doorway, through a large open circular window in one wall, a stream of evening light, quite bright and gold, begins to shine through. And immediately he just sort of leaps out of the way of the beam of light, and it shines on the door behind him, and he sort of advances toward you to get out of it. And off in the distance you can hear distant thunder. It's very soft and far away. And he says to you, Paulton, the Master has brought you here to become one with the dark powers and take your rightful place as lord of this land. Your friends are invited to the wedding, after which you will bid them farewell.
Holly.
I was muted.
Holly was muted, so it was just the best silent.
Anyone can hear me eating my chips.
And as you stand there and he draws near, you can smell that he's using perfume to hide what is basically a stench of death that kind of surrounds him. And outside, over the sound of the thunder, you can hear the clopping of horse hooves and the clatter of a carriage far down in the courtyard below. And it gets louder and louder and louder. And Escher kind of looks off over his shoulder back toward the window and says, "Your bride. She comes."
My what now?
And he looks you up and down, and what you're wearing this raven costume. Minus the headpiece.
Yeah.
Remember, it's winking.
He took off the head, yeah.
Looks like you're ready to go, yeah.
Yeah, he took off the head, so he doesn't have the headpiece with him, but he's got the rest of it. And he looks you up and down kind of disapprovingly, and he says, "We have to get you fitted for a suit."
I do have several questions, but I will also never say no to a good suit.
He says,
So,
"The wedding is tonight."
Okay.
We don't have much time. You and the
Yeah.
master are meant to be one again. And then he leans in very close to you and says, "If you run, the master will just bring you back. Only next time, without your friends."
It's like, okay.
Once you've consummated your marriage and embraced the darkness,
Mm-hmm.
you can doom your bride to the catacombs as Strahd has done with all of his. Then we can be together forever. And then he goes,
It's like,
Can I ask a question?
but of course.
"Yeah, you're standing right there, Evelyn." And he hasn't said boo to you.
It's related to my question. When Evelyn as a construct stands still,
Yes.
does her construct body make any noise?
Nothing external. You can sort of feel things sort of vibrating in you, but no, you don't make any, unless you want to. I mean, you can actually do that.
I know I could speak, but like, she's definitely having she's trying to be quiet because Paulton made her invisible. So she knows there's a reason.
Yeah, but if she just sort of shifts or sort of moves her body a bit, there might be like a very soft whirring noise or something.
Yeah, because I think that like she's been doing a very good job of being quiet, but as soon as certain phrases are said, like "your wedding is tonight," "consummate the marriage," those kinds of things, she probably like there's probably some sort of little like peep
Yeah.
or something that, like, you know, like I don't think she says anything, but I think like whatever little bellows is inside her is like, you know, like something.
I can
like
imagine it just being like,
she's like standing very still, like she's got her hands in little robot fists and she's kind of going so yeah.
I like try to cover up the noises by matching. I'm just like,
Okay,
My
but yeah,
allergies
other
are
than that,
terrible
she's
here.
trying very hard to like just wait and see what Paulton, because she does not understand what's going on at all.
okay, so I say to him, like, I feel like there might have been mail that I didn't get because this is relatively news to me.
He says, "You have nothing to worry about. You're perfectly safe." In fact, you're perfect in every way.
Thank you. I've missed you too.
You have the blood of King Baroth von Zarovich and the Vistani flowing through your veins.
Huh.
But you did leave something of yourself behind.
Did I now? Okay. Well, let's how about we get me suited up and we can continue this conversation, and you know, if there were anyone who were quietly joining us very subtly. Not that I'm saying they should, but no one is. But wink.
Escher will smile, and then he'll turn to you acknowledge you for the first time, Evelyn.
Ah!
And
Oh no, you turned into me.
yeah, and he says, "You will be safer with your friends."
He's looking at me.
Yes.
I tackle him.
Okay.
I just like,
Okay, you hurl yourself bodily at the vampire. Is it your intention to just knock him to the floor, to grapple him?
Yeah, grapple him, like knock him to the floor and restrain him, and then talk to Paulton.
Okay. So go ahead and make a strength athletics check.
I like those.
With their robot strength?
With
Yep.
my normal
With your
strength.
crazy robot strength?
I don't have any additional strength. But it's still good. It is 19.
Okay, so yes, you hurl yourself at Escher, you catch him completely off guard, and you tackle him to the floor of the throne hall.
I'm just like sitting on him on the floor, holding him down as a gold little tiny robot.
Yes.
And then I look at Paulton and I'm like, what in the name of the Holy Morning Lord is going on?
A lot.
You can hear
Yeah.
the sound of the large castle doors, the main entrance to the castle, opening up far below you, out into the courtyard. And you can hear rattling and like people getting out of a carriage down below, but you can't see anything. Other than that, you're alone up here.
You're engaged?
Apparently.
And you're engaged, but you like this guy?
Oh,
look at Usher.
that's
You like him? I'm so confused. Where are we?
it's complicated.
You're
Did
in
he
the
say
castle
Strahd?
Ravenloft.
Did you say Strahd? Did I hear Strahd? Something about Strahd? I don't
He
like
says,
him.
you took Strahd out of his domain, but you left a piece of him behind.
A piece. Where?
That is the master.
That what? I'm holding his hands down and I'm like, what's that? Like he
Diath and Strix.
Oh no!
Hello.
You guys are you were standing on a ledge in Citadel Adbar overlooking a busy underground thoroughfare with dwarves and stuff. Your quarry had eluded you, and no sign of Kaharik. You had just, Diath, used this sword to summon the Arcanoloth, who is now gone.
Yes.
It is at that time that the voices of the dwarves seem to fade and get farther away, and they're slowly they kind of dissolve away into darkness, and the darkness just begins to surround you until the only light is basically the red gleaming gem of your sword. But that light is barely enough, it's weaker than a candlelight, and it's barely enough to illuminate even the walls or ledge around you. And so you suddenly find the two of you in darkness. Now, Strix, you have dark vision.
I do.
You can see in a moment, in an instant, that the surroundings change from Citadel Adbar to a dark study. Walls lined with ancient tomes. A dark hearth above which there is a large framed portrait of a beautiful woman.
I recognize them.
Yes. Other accoutrements you recognize, comfortable chairs laid about. You remember at one point there was a dead cleric lying behind one of the divans.
Yes.
This is Strahd's study. You're standing on an old rug. There are doors all around you, but it is pitch black. Nothing is lit here except for that little red gleaming gem in the pommel of Diath's sword.
This has been a bad day.
But
It's the first thing that I say.
Strix, make a perception check.
Great.
Dieth is like reaching out, trying to find Strix as any kind of
She's
anchor.
just like, bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day. Oh my gosh, I got a 14.
One feature that was not present before, that is present now, in one corner in front of a door is a standing suit of armor that's headless. It's just the body down, and it's just standing in front of the door.
Oh, great.
This is fine.
I'll pull out my drift globe.
It's kind of a dark armor, Baroque, old, and almost antiquated style. And you pull out your drift globe. When that happens, there is enough light, Dieth, that you can see that you're in this Gothic study.
Yeah, and I instantly recognize it too.
Yes, and you instantly recognize it. You recognize the picture of Irina, or some reincarnation of her above the fireplace mantle.
That suit of armor wasn't there before.
No.
I will point at it and then slowly back myself to the wall.
And with the ample light...
Oh, is that what you're concerned about? Because right now we're back in freaking Barovia!
With the ample light...
I've already peed myself about that. I've soiled my drawers, okay? Are you happy?
With the ample light, you both see something else. There is a shadow being cast on the wall that doesn't seem to have a source. It is humanoid. Could be a figure who, now the shadow's sort of stretched out and elongated, but it could be a human figure, but it's wearing a cloak. And I'd like you both to make perception checks.
Oh,
Would you say it's vaguely Polton?
I got a 20.
Oh, yay. I got a 3.
Okay.
When does that happen?
Your first instinct is that it's the shadow of Strahd, because it's got the sort of the fan, the cloak.
What? I'm done. Bye.
But Strix.
I'm gone. I'm not here. I'm under the
Ollie
desk.
has flown away.
I've gone. Strix has gone under the desk.
Yeah. You've gone under the desk. As you're cowering underneath the desk, you can see that it would be Strahd, except that the head seems to look more like Paulton.
Oh no!
No.
Strix will tell that to Dieth and then be like, "Is there any wine in this room?"
Let's call it
it?
Stralton.
No, we don't. There's no Stralton.
That was a 4-player simultaneous facepalm, by the way.
Oh no.
Oh. Come under the desk.
Yes,
Strix will,
you're
try and
under the
get Dieth
desk,
to come under the desk.
and she's trying to pull you under the desk with her.
Dieth does. He joins her.
Okay, you cower under the desk.
It's like knees folded up. He's like holding on to him, kind of like rocking back and forth a little bit.
She's like, stop, he'll hear us.
Back in the throne hall, Escher says to you, Evelyn, surprised by the weight that you're sort of forcing him down with, he says, "What are you going to do? Slap me with your puppet hands?"
I don't need to, but thanks for the invitation. I just kind of laugh at him and I'm like, what is your deal? Why did you bring us here?
I didn't do anything. The master brought you here. He did that because he has the power to. He has the power to because he and Paulton are meant to be together. They are one.
And I'm like, I have him grappled and I'm like getting really frustrated with him. So at this point, I'm kind of like, I even like take his little hand and I'm like waving it around. I'm like, and who is the master? Let's clear this up. Come on, come be forthcoming. Who's the master?
I too would also like to know. I feel this pertains to me.
He says, "Your shadow," to Paulton.
His shadow is his master. I don't think that's usually how it works.
The dark powers want to reclaim this land. A piece of Strahd is in your shadow.
I look at Paulton like, do you have any idea what this lunatic is raving about?
No?
I look at him and I say, I think he's ill. I think he needs help.
You need something.
I don't recognize this place, Paulton. Where are we?
We're somewhere not stellar.
Okay. I thought you said something about, or he said something about you having been here before. Have you been here before?
Ooh, I mean, we've all been somewhere.
The secrets come out.
You know?
I mean, yes, in a philosophical sense, of course, we are all somewhere together in the light and love of the morning, Lord. That is very deep and profound.
Yes, the light in the morning, all of that. Absolutely.
You're so right.
Shout out to that morning, Lord.
Yeah, you're right. How could I have been so distracted as to be focused on this mortal world when really that is what it's all about? Well, what what do you propose we do from here?
Are you addressing that to Paulton?
Yeah.
Or to Escher? Paulton.
Paulton.
Okay.
I'm ignoring Escher completely. I'm just sitting on him.
Yeah. And he doesn't seem to be at this point fighting you. He's just kind of lying there on the floor.
Say, well, you should probably let that one stand back up.
I look at him. Why?
Because he likes me.
I wouldn't label him as a threat at the moment.
Why can he see me when I'm invisible?
Yeah, why can he?
Why can you see me when I'm invisible?
He says, well, actually, he doesn't say anything. He just rolls his red eyes.
Evelyn looks very put upon and then just like, ugh, stands up and steps back and tries to fold her arms, but she's still not really used to how her arms work, so she kind of like ends up like this.
All right, yep. Escher will get back to his feet. Try to muster up as much decorum as he can, given the circumstances. You hear the doors of the castle far below shut with a loud ka-thunk that echoes throughout the courtyard. You hear the whinny of a pair of horses, the huffing and the stomping of hooves.
You said I'd be safer with my friends. Am I in danger?
Escher says, not presently.
All right, great. Well, this place is not stellar, as you said, Paulton, and we are not in immediate danger. And you said this guy's not a threat. So I think it's time to go and find Dieth and Strix. Let's go. And she turns and like tries to usher Paulton out of the room and leave.
Okay. Paulton, are you going to let her?
Before we go, well, I'm going to talk to Escher.
Mm-hmm.
I say, yes, on that note, you said friends, plural. Are they here?
Yes, they are here. They,
cool.
Like the shadow you left here, are part of you now.
In like a spiritual sense?
Something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna put a pin in that statement. Can they be like here in like with the? Can we see them?
Through walls?
Hmm?
No. If you want to see them, we can go and see them.
Yeah. Yes, that sounds nice. Thank you, please.
Sure. That works. That works for me.
All right. He turns and then he sees the light is still streaming through the evening light is still streaming through the window, and he can't even get close to the doors at this point. So he calls out, "Cyrus! Cyrus!" And then the doors, you hear a clop, 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 clop outside, and then the door peels open, and a degenerate mongrel folk steps in, carrying a lantern that's sort of flickering and sputtering, and you recognize him, Paulton, as Cyrus Bellevue, this horrid creature, this Moreau-like human that's been basically transformed into various animals, all sort of collaged together. And Escher will say, Lord Paulton wants to see his other friends.
At Lord Paulton, I kind of raise an eyebrow, a little mechanical eyebrow. Look at Paulton.
Is this the same? Is this the same like lantern dude who was like keeping the prison that I?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. I see him. I'm just like, hey.
And he says, it's about time.
It's good to see you too, friendo.
Let's go.
Okay.
He says, I have a banquet to prepare.
Oh, you throw the best parties, dude. I am ecstatic.
And Escher tells Cyrus, when you're done, bring him to his quarters. We'll have him fitted for suit.
Look, I'm just like, you know it.
I'll be waiting for you there, my love.
It's like, I'll be seeing you there, dude.
With each of these conversations, like, he recognizes this weird person I've never seen before.
Yeah.
He seems to have this relationship with Escher, who I also have never seen before. And so Evelyn is like slowly but surely kind of like getting quiet and like just observant here because she has no idea what's going on.
Yes, as this degenerate mongrel folk leads you out, Escher says, one more thing. And Cyrus is like, what? And he turns around. Don't let him see the bride. Not yet.
Yes, bad luck.
Fine. And this degenerate creature will lead you out.
As we're being led, I like lean over. I lean over to. Why is my thing doing that? Anyway, I lean over in the evil and I whisper. I'm just like, "Don't worry, I have no idea what I'm doing."
Neither do I.
Okay,
Do
cool.
what you're doing, because this is all very strange.
It's very complicated. We have like kind of a rocky history, and I don't want to get into it because bringing up exes is kind of weird. But, you know.
But you're not like in league with evil or anything, right? Because this seems kind of like you're in league with evil.
Putting another pin in that one. We'll get to it. Don't worry, I got this.
Evelyn's just kind of like her little mechanical eyes are kind of like,
Yes, and you're making your way through the sort of cobweb-strewn halls and dark passages and staircases of the castle, seemingly descending into and ascending into its innards. You become very quickly disoriented and lost as this mongrel folk leads the way. Strix and Diath, as you cozy up underneath this big desk, Waffle sort of squeezes between the two of you.
Oh no! You shouldn't be here.
She doesn't quite know what's going on, but she feels quite comfortable nestled between the two of you under here.
Oh,
can't believe you brought the baby.
he didn't bring her. Like,
and
are
as
you a
you watch in your drift globe light, the shadow of Stralton does seem to be moving slowly across the wall.
No.
Oh my god. I hate this so much. I hate this.
We have to run. We have to get out of here.
No, we have to stay under the desk forever. This is our new home. She like starts to just like tidy it up and like move things around. Waffles is the bed.
No, Strix. None of us are gonna live in Barovia. We are leaving. We left
No,
before.
this
We'll do it
this
again.
desk is our new home. Shut up!
I don't want to be here.
Neither do I. She just starts crying and going, Waffles, you'll make a great bed.
All right, and while you're doing that, you can hear footsteps coming upstairs behind one of the doors. And then the suit of armor, clunk, 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 moves out of the way as the door opens, and light spills in from a lantern held by a degenerate mongrel folk creature, behind which stand Paulton and Evelyn.
But they have never seen Evelyn in her current form, right?
They have not. But in
No.
the dim light, it looks superficially like you.
Okay.
As soon as I see them, do I see them under the desk?
Not at first. At first, I'll have you and Paulton make perception checks.
You
Just see
you could
your
probably
cowardice.
just hear us just being like,
Yeah.
I gotta live here.
At first, you just see this kind of old Gothic library with high ceilings and big portraits and old lamps molded to the walls and paneling and a big padded chairs and a nice desk and all of that. But you might hear them. What you roll?
I roll an uncharacteristic 18.
Okay.
Oh my god.
13.
Okay. Yeah. So, Evelyn, you do hear sort of scrabbling underneath the desk, and you actually might hear a little sound like from Waffles that you recognize.
I immediately recognize Dieth and Strix's voices, I assume.
Yes.
Because this is the sound they usually make when they get in this mode. And I immediately launch myself down there, and I'm like, "Dieth, Strix, you won't believe it."
As soon as he
Paulton
comes into the
engaged,
light, you just
and-
see this animatronic Evelyn.
And apparently he has a thing with this guy Escher is a vampire, and now they're telling us that he's going to get married tonight, and I think we might be in danger or not. And I'm like crawling in there with them and like trying to cuddle with Strix.
Strix is gonna give her a hug.
Her face is not moving sort of entirely naturally, and you can hear very soft little whirs and clicks from inside her artificial body.
So
Literally just.
So this weird like robotic face just comes in like right up
into the light.
Strix
grill.
doesn't care. She's just like, oh, so you're like a Modron now. That's fine. And she just gives her a hug.
Dieth
I
like
crawl into Strix's arms and I'm just like cuddled up against her like she's holding me, and I'm just like, "Ba, ba, 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 ba," with my robotic mouth. "Ba, ba, 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 ba."
Strix, the first time she's ever given her a hug, and she's like, I don't think you can smell me, which is great for you.
It is very nice.
Dieth's initial response is actually panic, in that he actually like scoots back on his using his hands and his feet like from out under the table. So like, he almost comes out, like puts a hand to his sword right away as this bizarre construct suddenly gets way too close, way too fast, and knows our names.
Yep. All right.
So Strix immediately believes it's me, and it's fine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's seen stuff like this before. It's nothing new.
We have a
She's
deep
just like, this
friendship
is
bond.
weird.
And as
She
soon as,
mostly is just like, this
Evelyn
isn't
goes
weird.
scuttling under the desk to be with Strix, Paulton, you get it, and you see Dieth come tumbling out the other side. You know exactly what's going on. You're also standing right next to what appears to be an animated suit of armor.
I say to Dieth, I'm like, it's fine. That's Evelyn. And surprisingly enough, that's not the weirdest thing going on right now. We should chat.
This like Dieth is just wide-eyed looking back and forth, but is immediately relieved seeing that Paulton is still alive, and then also relieved that Evelyn is alive. But looking back at her, like you can't help but feel a sense of sadness or perhaps even pity at whatever it is that she's become.
Yeah, you guys didn't even know that I was around. Like,
No.
you thought I was
No,
dead.
we thought you were dead.
Yeah.
Also, Strix will like release the hug, like realizing that she's hugging you, and be like, ugh, and just be like, I'm just so happy we didn't have to go to the celestial plane. Like, oh, that would have been
Yeah.
such a trouble.
So
even when Strix releases the hug, Evelyn keeps like, as she's talking to her, keeps trying to like grab her hand or like lean on her or stuff like.
She's like, no, it was just once. It was just
I just
once.
miss my girlfriend so much.
Paulton,
Dieth,
Paulton, what do you want your severed hand to do?
I was just gonna ask if he's still with me. So like right as I say, like we've got other stuff going on. Can he just like kind of crawl up onto Dia's shoulder and then
Yes.
stuff?
Poor Dieth.
So Dieth, make a perception check,
oh no,
and I shall roll.
that's so not funny.
I shall roll the crawling claws stealth check.
with bonus 16.
Yeah, okay. So you don't notice until it is crawled literally up on your shoulder. And then you see this black, severed, desiccated hand right there.
Do I see it too?
At this point in time, until Dieth reacts, probably not.
Okay.
So just sees it, screams, grab him, try to like throw it across the room.
Yes.
Like
At which point, everybody sees the hand go flying from Dieth's grip across the room.
What was
Just
that?
Come on, dude.
And that's like scuttling back toward you.
What did I say about picking things up from the ground?
You said always do that and then maybe eat it.
Not magic things.
So Dieth's attention will kind of go back to Robot Evelyn, and he'll kind of like almost crawl back forward to her, and like not really sure how he's supposed to interact with her. Like he wants to like put like a hand up to her and like kind of touch her and make sure like this is actually her and it's real, but he kind of like stops himself and just
It's
doesn't
clear.
know
It's
how to
clear that
handle it.
she is not a real person, but you get the sense touching her that you
Yeah.
have no doubt that it's her.
I like kneel right in front of Dieth and I kind of realize what he's going through, that like, oh yeah, I look super weird and this was super weird, like, 10 hours ago. And so I just kind of like kneel in front of him and kind of look in his eyes and I hold out one hand like this, just like letting him touch it.
Yeah. So he'll kind of take hold of it almost meekly.
Yeah.
And
It's room
he'll-
temperature, her hand,
Yeah.
which is not normal.
Like he'll just kind of whisper out like just the deepest concern in his eyes and just says like, "We'll fix you."
You can see in her face that like she kind of already had the Evelyn mask on, but as soon as you say that, like something kind of breaks and she looks like very deeply sad but thankful. And she's just like,
Yeah.
You always do.
I've never had a friend.
I turn to him just like, come on, I'm right here.
Strix is like, do you want some snickety snooks?
He looks at you, Polton, and he says,
I'm just your servant.
No, don't, come on. Don't be like that.
She'll offer him like a piece of jerky or something. They're like, come on, we're your friends. A stranger, whoever you are. I mean, you're one of those weird people I gave.
Says,
snacks
I don't
to
eat
before.
strange food.
Well, then we're
That's
not
a really
friends,
good
and she'll just
policy.
put it back into her robe. I only make friends with people that eat strange food.
he says,
Yeah.
Speaking of
funny-
which, I'm supposed to prepare your wedding feast, and you're supposed to be get dressed up.
It's like,
Wedding feast.
and you're not supposed to be giving me any lip. Now, I offered friendship, but I can stop being nice if you want.
Yes, master.
Dieth
Thank you.
finally darts up to his feet. Wedding feast.
Yeah,
Halton, what is happening?
Just like,
Yeah, I'm a
Oh.
little scared. Strix will go back under the desk.
Evelyn keeps like, see,
He's getting
Wedding
married
feast.
to the dark powers.
banquet, dark powers.
What?
See,
Okay, Strix will like peek out from under the desk and be like, this is not okay.
The land needs its dark lord.
No, it doesn't. I had a relationship with dark powers before. It didn't go great.
everyone had relationships I don't know about.
I turn to him, I'm just like, thank you. That will be all. Wait outside the door, and I'll be out momentarily.
Yes, master.
and he heads out. Click.
So, guys,
What?
I
I'm
know
still
what you're
under the
thinking.
desk.
I know what you're thinking. And it's complicated. But basically, I'm kind of fucked. So, I don't know what to do. Kind of panicking. Thoughts?
Strix, what do we do?
I don't know this kind of magic.
Evelyn, what do we do?
We leave.
I mean,
like
we tried.
that.
We
Wait.
can't leave. We're stuck here. We were stuck here before, and now we're stuck here again.
Mhm.
Why? Why are we stuck?
Can I don't know. Can I do an Arcana check to see
Sure.
like why we're stuck?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, I got a 19, which plus my Arcana is like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. It's like 24.
Okay. You haven't been brought up to speed yet on everything that they know about how you were brought here or who brought you back here. But if your planar lord does you any credit, you know that, okay, so you captured Strahd in that puppet, and you took him out of his domain. And after he was trapped in the puppet, you were able to leave his domain. Essentially, the borders of mist fell, and you could escape. Now, to the best of your knowledge, that puppet hasn't returned, although it's possible it could have, in which case, Strahd would probably be released by now. The shadow on the wall that you saw tells you that it's possible that had some hand in bringing Paulton back, because that is a piece of Paulton.
Oh, that's right.
And here's the thing. If it did it once, it could do it again.
Right.
Look, the last thing we all want is for Paulton to be fucked, okay? So we're going to figure out how...
I could say something about that, but I'm not going to.
Well, you make your own decisions about what you want to say when, but I'm just saying, what's the deal with the shadow thing? Let's figure it out and let's go.
We could go. That is not ideal, because you notice how we were just kind of brought here, and if we left, they'd do it again. And then
it's your shadow. Is he in here still with us? Is he still just like hanging out, the shadow?
Yeah, when you look around, you can see that it has moved. But it is casting itself on a wall, and you don't know if it can hear you or what.
Paulton, go smash yourself against that guy. That's magic. Just like crush yourself against the shadow. Stick it back to your feet or something.
I've always hated that thing.
Can I just walk over to it and just kind of investigate it?
Yes, and as you approach it, it moves away from you.
Come on, dude. So it just keeps moving away. I can't get near it.
Correct.
Situation.
Strix will pull out the flask and throw it at Paulton and say, try this. I don't know if it'll work, but there's no one in it currently because I made a big mistake. I'll tell you about that later.
I was going to ask if this is occupied, but
it is not.
No. Okay.
Because I'm a big old dummy.
Okay.
You're not a dummy.
Thank you, Evelyn, but I am a dummy. Thank you.
No,
I
you're
guess,
beautiful and smart, and I love
can
you.
I try to get in the flask?
Yeah, you can unplug it and say the command word, which you know to be Zirith, and try to will the creature into the flask. And when you do so, it doesn't seem to have any effect. That's probably because it is native to this place.
It don't work.
Well, then give it back to me.
Okay.
So I can make some more mistakes. Thank you. Just jump back in the robe.
Can I'm gonna wave to it.
Okay.
Maybe you can make friends.
It turns into a large bat-like humanoid form, the cloak essentially becoming wings.
I withdraw my wave.
Bat King.
Bat King.
Oh my god, I'm a Bat King.
But like all shadows, it is dead silent.
Back under the desk.
No, I
You
grab
see
her.
its,
I don't
you
let
see
her
its
go
wings begin to spread across the wall of the room, the 40-foot wall of the room.
Cool.
Wait, wasn't there a secret exit out of this place before?
Yes.
Maybe we could run and hide and just.
Do I have any kind of inkling that I could, I don't know, use a spell or something that could interact with it somehow?
That is a good question. You could make an Arcana check.
Oh, Arcana. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that'd be a 5.
Okay. You are
No idea.
Yeah. You're not sure in its current form you can even really communicate with it in any conventional way. Now, it's possible that There could be a spell or a ritual, maybe even in one of these hundreds of thousands of tomes surrounding you that might shed some light on it. But that might take some time.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of that.
Yeah, and so there are a number of doors out of here. There is the door to the staircase that you just came up. There's a set of double doors, and then there are 2 single doors out of the room.
Oh, right. So yeah, we can just run and leave.
Yep.
Last time we ran and
The secret door is the one leading to the staircase. That's the one that they came through.
Okay.
I thought we agreed we needed to reattach this shadow to Paulton to solve this problem.
So if we were to leave, where would we even go?
Strix is
Away.
like, this is my house now. I live under this desk.
Strix, have
It's
you
like-
ever reattached a shadow to a person?
No.
Have you ever detached a shadow from a person?
No.
Do you know anything about attaching shadows?
I don't think so, but I can search my wealth of knowledge.
Go ahead and do
Shall
so.
I do an Arcana check again?
You can
In the
try.
meantime, while she's
I have
like looking,
16.
Okay. You believe it might be possible through some sort of ritual to do so. You're not sure what magic or power Strahd used to break off the shadow, other than he's a super powerful Uber Dark Lord.
Right. I will relay that to them.
Yeah. But undoubtedly, there is a magical way to accomplish this goal.
what if we just destroy the shadow?
With what?
With
That's that's more
the
impossible
light
than
of the
attaching
morning
it.
lord.
Oh, are you gonna do that?
I punch it with divine smite. I just punch the wall where it is.
Okay, so you go over and strike the wall with your fist. Boom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem to have any effect on the shadow, but it does cause the animated suit of armor
Oh,
to
man.
sort of clench its fists and begin marching in your direction.
Come at me, metal
Do
bro.
I know if it'll listen to me?
Maybe don't. Maybe don't. We can't do any of this.
And you see it just sort of throw a chair that weighs about 150 pounds aside like it's nothing. And it goes tumbling across the room to get to you. It doesn't
Maybe
walk
we
around the
should-
chair, it just pushes it.
Evelyn kind of has like a half smile on her face, and she gets in like a hunkered down, like she hasn't had a fight in a while, and she's pissed off.
Okay.
I'm gonna yell at it and just tell it to stand down in hopes that it'll listen.
All right. It stands down.
Aww.
Okay, breaking stuff, no bueno. Running, no bueno. If I know these guys, we're in the most ideal position we could be in right now, and we're not in immediate danger, and we need to use this to figure out something that'll actually work.
Except for I think the dark powers are trying to make you into Strahd. Strix will just like point at Paulton.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that's not a bad idea.
It's like, right, and that doesn't sound great, but if we run, it'll only make things worse.
What if we let it happen and
What?
you do this wedding and you become the Dark Lord, right? Then you're the king of all this realm, and then with your new king powers, you dissolve the anarchy or the hierarchy and just like done. No more kings, no more counts. You use your weird count powers and you just be done with it all. I don't know. What's your idea?
I think
What's wrong
you
with
need
him?
a snack. I think he needs a snack.
He
All I
does.
can
Feed him
be at the
quickly.
snack.
I listened to that plan. I'm just like, well, now hold on. Would that wouldn't work? Would that work?
No.
That wouldn't work. No, of course that wouldn't work. That would work.
And then you could declare a new empire.
No, what? We're talking about evil here, about darkness. You are literally a bastion of light. You need to play yourself a song. Play something. Play a
That
song
is
for your
not-
shadow. Maybe
that
it'll
is
remind
not
it the
going
true
to help.
light and joy in the world.
It's like,
She hands him she's grabs his bagpipe from his back and like shoves it into his hand.
Is it like making really sad, like voices?
I'm just holding the bagpipe like, I appreciate the kind words. They might not be entirely true, but the gesture is received. Thank you. We're going to go back to planning now.
Maybe
Okay.
the shadow wants to hear a song. I'm just saying.
What if the puppet is back?
It could be.
Then we really can't
through
leave.
one of the single doors to the room opens up, and a kind of withered old man that you've never met before, with slightly askew spectacles, walks in, and you can see he's got a little bag in his arms. So he sort of closes the door with his bum, and then he just sort of waddles around the room, trying not to disrupt your conversation or get involved with you in any way, but perfectly aware that you're in the room. He's just trying to be as quiet and innocuous as possible.
I immediately turn to him, just like, hey, you.
He looks up, startled, in your direction. Yes, sir.
Come here.
Yes, sir. He walks over, and he says, I'm to fit you for a suit, sir.
What, in this room? Are we doing that here?
No. And he sort of gestures nervously, points a crooked old finger toward the double doors. He says, in your bedchamber, sir.
Ah, of course. The bedchamber that I'm completely aware of. Like,
I'm sure your companions will be very comfortable out here, sir.
Do I get a suit?
He says,
does he get a suit?
I'm
I
sure
get
we
a
could.
suit?
He sort of looks you up and down, Dieth, and says, I believe we could find something for you. It may not fit perfectly, but we'll have to do.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Your bride is a lovely creature, if I may say so, sir.
Looking forward to finding that out.
What's her name? Strix will yell from under the desk.
I don't rightly know.
Cool.
Is she a human?
Yes.
Is she a vampire?
I don't believe so, no.
I don't believe you.
I've got it.
He says, shall we press on, sir? Daylight's wasting.
Right. I turn to my party. I'm just like, all right, guys, I have to go get fitted for my suit now. I'm sure everything we were talking about, you got it.
It was good to see you, Paulton. We shall meet up again soon.
Yes, let us do that. Just like an awkward, like unnatural shake.
All right. So this old man goes to the double doors and he stands by there. He sort of holds the bag of stuff in one hand and pulls the doors open. Waits for you to go through first and bows as you do.
I go through the doors.
All
Evelyn
right.
does not like this. She's looking at Dieth like, why are we letting him go?
The old man closes the doors behind them. So Evelyn, Dieth, and Strix, you are alone with the suit of armor and the shadow.
We should never let him out of
all
our
right,
sight again.
no.
What are you thinking?
Look, they're having a wedding, right?
No, we're
he-
leaving before that.
He's getting married, right?
Why?
Because you can't have a wedding if there's no bride.
I say we set the place on fire.
I like that idea. Let's get Paulton first, and then let's burn the thing down.
That's your answer for everything. That could actually work. Hear me out. If there's no bride, there's nothing to get married to, and none of this ritual happens.
Are you talking about killing somebody else?
I'm just gonna say right now that I'm glad that this mortal
Dia
peril
falls like
has
completely silent.
No, the mortal peril has made you nice and have initiative again. Good job, Dia. You're back to the team.
I'm just saying, if there's no bride, he can't go through with this, right?
Well, what do you mean by no bride?
We'll prevent it. We'll stop it. That's all we got to do.
So we have to go find the bride.
Yeah.
Or
That's
we
it.
could just, I mean, I don't see how that would stop it. They seem to feel like brides just come for a dime a dozen. They seem to be able to find new ones all the time.
I don't know. I mean, Strahd was pretty set on having that one bride, so I think they're pretty particular about these.
Well, the bride probably doesn't want to be here, so all we have to do is just pick her up and then take her out of here. No one wants to be here.
We kidnap her.
Oh, God.
Well, that sounds fine. I mean, if she wants
It's not kidnapping, it's just escorting. It's different.
But what about Paulton? We're just going to leave him with that guy?
No.
For now.
He's done well on his own before.
We'll come back for it.
Dieth will take his belongings out of his sack and shuffle through it real quick and pull out Treebane and hand it to Evelyn.
She, like, hefts it, and you can see, like, a visible, like, relief coming over her. She has had 0 weapons, 0 items, nothing. And she's like, thank you. And she gives him a huge hug, like a big metallic hug.
And Strix will give her back Juniper as well.
Oh, I guess I still do have like a pouch or something. I can
Yeah.
Or a
Can I give her a
compartment.
belt?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Juniper
You might have a
will run
little
around
internal
your...
compartment that you could put her in.
Oh, yeah, I do. I have a little like tummy compartment I put her
Yeah,
in.
she'll just like pop out of your shoulder and your brain. And
She just hangs out in there. It's like her little playground.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm into that. Okay. Are you wearing my my winged boots?
Oh, yeah. I returned those to her, too.
You don't want to keep them?
They're not for me.
He never used them.
Well, that's too bad.
It is too bad. It would have been funny.
Thanks, Strix.
Well, if you ever want to borrow them, you let me know. And I put them back on.
Yep, they sort of magically resized to fit your little wooden feet.
Aw. Okay. Well, I feel better.
I say we go find the bride.
All right. Sounds good.
Right. Are we
All right.
allowed to leave?
So there's the way you came in, the secret passage leading to the staircase. There's 2 single doors leading out of the room as well, one of which you've taken before to sort of get around the castle. You could probably take the familiar one and know you're not going to get lost.
Is there that suit of armor? Is that nearby?
It's now standing in the middle of the room.
Okay. So we probably won't obstruct our path, right?
No.
If we move fast enough.
You see that the giant shadow on the wall kind of shrinks back down to its human form. A little less
Why
threatening.
would it be doing that?
What does that mean?
I don't understand. Why would it be doing that?
I don't know either. We need to get out of here. Evelyn, lead the way.
Why don't we ask? I hate to say this, and I'm sorry, Dia, but we have someone we could ask.
No.
I mean, but she is a smart blood from Sigil. They'll know everything about it.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Who are we talking about?
Ugh.
The Dieth will explain his new sword to Evelyn.
That's so cool.
No, it's not. I don't trust it.
And you shouldn't. They're really dangerous, but
It's literally a weapon that calls a cool animal friend to tell you things about the world.
okay,
not
she
an
is not an animal friend.
You see the shadow produce what seems to be a set of shadow bagpipes.
Oh, come on.
Nope.
It's just getting real literal
we're
right
leaving.
now.
We're leaving. Bye.
Wait, what does it have to say? Maybe it does want him to play the bagpipes.
It's not making any sound, but it looks like it's
Does it look
playing.
like it's playing?
Yes.
See? I was right all along. It just wants Paulson to play.
I don't think that's what it wants.
I don't think that's what it wants.
Then why is it playing bagpipes?
Because it wants to be spooky? I don't know.
I think
That's
you
what
guys
shadows do.
underestimate Paulton and his shadow.
Because for all we know, that's what Paulton is exactly doing right now. It is a shadow, right?
He hasn't played bagpipes in a long time, if you haven't noticed. I doubt that's what he's doing right now.
You said there's one doorway that we are familiar with?
Yeah.
All right. Let's leave out that one, please. Let's go.
Are you going to notify the mongrel folk that you left outside the other secret door? Or are you just going to let them hang there?
I'll go and tell him. I'll be like, hey, we're just going to go out. We're going to go. We need some air.
We're just going to get ready for the wedding. We're excited.
Where's Master Paulton?
He's getting fitted for your suit you're so worried about.
Ah, for fuck's sakes. Okay. He goes stomping down the stairs. And he's mumbling something about, I got a feast to prepare. He's doing all the food and the zombie meat. All right.
I feel sorry for him.
Okay, and yes, you go wandering off into the castle to try to find the bride. I'd like all three of you to make investigation checks for me.
Yay!
To navigate the
10.
castle.
I don't get to
10.
do these very often.
Jared.
11.
Well, I got a 5, so.
Okay, you quickly become disoriented by the castle and its many dark passageways, staircases going up, down. You find yourselves going up and down to try to get to where you need to go. You can't quite remember the way back down to the dining hall on the ground floor, the organ chamber, or any of the other familiar sites. And at some point, you start to realize that your sense of memory can't be this bad. There must be something weird going on in this castle. You just feel like you're being led to strange places you've never been before. Paulton, you're in a comfortable bedchamber, a huge canopied bed with black drapes.
Cool.
Against one wall, there is a freestanding full-length mirror in a corner. There's other accoutrement. There's a standing candelabra with 9 lit candles burning away. The large window dominates the wall, but it's covered with red velvet drapes. There are also drapes hanging in what appear to be, they might be privies or closets, vestibules that you can't see. And this old man is taking your measurements as you're standing there, and Escher enters the room through one of the vestibules. He just throws the curtain aside, and he comes out with your suit and lays it on the bed while the old man is taking measurements. And he refers to the old man as Leaf, kind of impatiently. He doesn't seem to have much patience for this doddering old fool at all. But Escher sits there on the edge of the bed, his legs crossed, and he's just sort of like picking little bits of dirt and lint and old stuff off the suit, like it's been packed away for ages. And it's the same kind of outdated, almost archaic design that he himself favors.
I look at the suit and I'm just like, eh.
And off in the distance, Paulton, you begin to hear what sounds like bagpipes. But it sounds like they're outside the castle. Like you'd hear, on a Scottish morning, waking up in the Highlands, somebody just playing in the hills, that kind of thing. Very distant.
Let's see. Ask Escher. It's like, what's that?
What's what?
Do you hear anything?
Well, in fact, I do. Sounds like music. Far away. Kind of sad.
I want to know who that is.
Why?
Why? Why?
Why?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me go over this arrangement again. So why am I here?
You are here
Mm-hmm.
to take a bride,
Uh-huh.
to consummate your marriage.
And why am I getting married?
It's a symbolic gesture. The bride represents the dark powers. You are giving yourself over to them so that they can make you the new Dark Lord.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. So, Dark Lord to be, and you're questioning why. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, power play.
He says, the master is waking the dead. You can't have a wedding without guests.
Cool.
Oh,
It's like, now was that so hard?
I thought you had enough to worry about. I was only thinking of you.
So sweet.
I only ever think of you.
Too sweet. It's like, okay.
He says, if it wasn't forbidden, I'd be all over you now. But that would be improper. The dark powers would not like that.
Is that so? And,
But once you're the Dark Lord, you can do whatever you want. Anything you want. But you're going to have to let your friends go. You know that. It's the only way that they can be safe. You send them back to wherever they came from.
so if they stay here after this happens, they are then in danger?
Well, I don't think they'll be happy. Do you?
That's a matter of perception.
And he says, all that power you'll have, you're not likely to regard them in the same way. Your sentimentality will fade. Love will become... Love of the living will become less important to you.
Good to know.
He says, I know this because I've read many of the books in the Master's study, and after he embraced his darkness, he was never the same. And he was a great man.
What? Like, so he was never the same after?
No, he was cold.
What was he like before?
A great warrior, so I'm told. A soldier. He placed his family above all. If you were of the blood, then you were his to protect, and he always kept his word. The Vistani Pact is proof of that. They saved his life. He was indebted to them. Forever.
That sounds familiar.
He says, forever will have new meaning for you after tonight.
So romantic.
It really is.
I'm so scared.
As this is going on, Leaf comes over. Escher just thrusts the suit into his sunken chest, and Leaf will go over and immediately sort of take it over to a small vanity and begin to do some stitching, some tucking, and other things to the suit while you're talking to Escher. Escher sort of pats the bed next to him.
I will have a seat.
All right. He says, I can barely control myself.
It's like, I'm sure.
The music continues to play, distant. Sounds like a piece you would choose. He says, there is some of you in the creature I call the Master. Once you've embraced the dark powers, he will rejoin you. And you will have in you what I hope to be the best of him. Whatever piece, whatever fragment of him he used to tear your shadow from you, that will be inside you, that piece of Strahd. He and I had a special relationship.
All good to know. What do I do?
While you're thinking about that, the others of you, you find yourself going up a tower staircase. And the tower is quite broad. It's about 60 feet across inside, and the staircase hugs the inside wall. And you get to a landing that has a door leading outside. An open archway onto what appears to be a bridge that crosses from this tower to another tower. And you see something hanging above you in midair. The spiral staircase continues up the tower overhead, and hanging in midair above you is what appears to be a 10-foot diameter black heart.
It's the heart.
Oh,
We were
wait.
supposed to destroy that.
I thought Mordenkainen was going to do that.
He was like drunk or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and you can see that it looks like at one point the heart may have been kind of alive, but it's all sort of crystallized dead, and it's got a gash in it.
It looks dead to me.
It looks sort of burnt out.
It's not pulsing or beating or anything.
No.
So he did destroy it for us. Oh, that's good. I wonder if
and
he's
you can also
around
see
here.
you can also see on the stairs, sort of littering the stairs, are bits of shattered weaponry, halberds that have been broken or sundered or blasted to pieces.
Are there any good weapons?
Nothing has survived. So at this point, you kind of have a choice. You can either cross the bridge to the roof of the other tower, or you can keep going up this one.
Do we cross the bridge?
Or you can go back down.
We couldn't even go back where we came from, right?
You could crawl back down this staircase and try to figure out where you went wrong.
But we're like super lost, is what I mean. Like
You
we
are
couldn't go back to
super
that room.
lost. Yes.
Like we couldn't go
can't-
back where the suit of armor was and stuff.
You couldn't find your way back there if you tried.
Yeah.
This is fine. We can be lost. They can't start the
Oh,
wedding
great.
without the wedding party, so if we're lost, they can't start without us.
I don't know. I think they'd start without us in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's nice that you're logical, but a heartbeat.
When you sort of poke your heads out through the archway and look, the keep of the castle looks like that. Oops, wait, there we are.
Yep.
There.
Okay. Gotcha.
And you see that tall spire?
Yep.
You are up in that. And there's a bridge that crosses over to the flat-topped high tower.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to the very top. Maybe we can
And
get a
you can
lookout.
see by the time you get up here, now a lot of the sky is clear, which is odd. You didn't expect to see that. But there is a storm coming in from one direction, and you can see the sun has set behind the mountains in the other.
I do not like this.
Oh yeah, there's a storm coming. All right.
I think I think the storm is like a metaphorical storm. I think everything here means something bad.
Yeah. And from this vantage point, when you look toward the storm and then cast your eyes down, you can look down the high perch that the castle's on and see in a valley a small familiar village. Its pointed rooftops and general layout conforming to the village of Barovia, the first place you entered upon arriving here. It sits at the base of the spire on which the castle is perched. You can see it clear as day.
Oh, it's so nostalgic. Remember all of our times together?
But the-
We were
Yeah,
here
it sucked.
before?
We need to get out of
The
here.
dark clouds are kind of pressing up against it and will soon be over the castle as well.
Since the sky is clear right now and it's not stormy, can
Yeah.
I using my boots jump out the window and kind of get like a super vantage point on the castle and look from the
Yeah, you
top
can
down?
essentially flutter around.
Mhm.
Um,
And I just kind of want to investigate, if I happen to hear that music, I'm totally going to investigate it. I want to see if I see this caravan that was coming, all that stuff.
okay. You can make a perception check to see what you see and or hear.
Ooh. Evelyn, as a robot, is much more perceptive so far. 16.
Yes, you can sort of hear a distant sound of bagpipes, but you can't pinpoint where it's coming from. It just seems to echo around the general area of the mountains where you're in. And it sounds very, very faint. But as you look around, you can see that on the rooftops below you, some old decrepit gargoyles are perched. You can see empty battlements with no guards on them, curtain walls with parapets that stand unguarded. Below you is the chapel, which seems lit from within, and above it, a belfry tower that currently appears dark. There's not much activity in the rear courtyards. You do see a small garden at the base of the chapel that looks sort of wild and untended, and what appears to be a walkout, an overlook that allows you to look down into the valley below. But toward the front of the castle, where the gatehouse is and the drawbridge, you can see there is Strahd's black carriage, his coach, with 2 black horses still waiting outside the entrance to the castle, which is now closed up. There's no activity other than the horses around the coach at present. And the drawbridge is down.
Does seeing the castle from this vantage point give me any help on like us navigating inside the castle?
Not so much, because the castle inside is a maze, but there are windows and other things around here where, at least if you had an idea of where you were going, you'd have a better chance of getting there.
Okay, I go back and kind of like report all this to my friends.
Yeah. And it also strikes you, just being a person of some religious background, that if there is a wedding and there is a bride, eventually she's going to be taken to the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the ultimate destination for all of this.
Right. So I do report all of this to my friends, and then I say, if we want to stop the wedding, I think we just got to set the chapel on fire.
Yay!
I mean, will it burn?
Anything burns, Div.
We could also smash it. I don't know.
Is it made of stone or?
Wouldn't smashing a chapel kind of be like bad for you?
Not if it's an evil chapel in the possession of the Dark Lord himself.
No,
Or someone
that's
trying
fair.
to become it?
Yeah.
Did you guys hear a yeah somewhere?
I feel it in my heart.
Evelyn, with your perception check, you can see flying through the air toward the castle, and by extension toward you, are what appear to be 3 witches on brooms.
Oh no!
They
I
are,
hold my hat down.
they're coming from a direction and heading toward the castle. It's not clear to you that they're bearing down on you specifically. They seem to be just coming back to the castle.
Looks like the wedding guests are starting to arrive.
Oh, Dieth is hidden. He's hidden. Don't
Dieth, are
worry,
you
he's
okay?
fine.
What's
He's
wrong?
hiding.
What's wrong?
Do you remember
What's
the
wrong,
broom incident? Everything's
go-
coming back.
We should go back inside.
All right, well, can we go to the chapel? Or can
We can try and make it to
Dieth?
the. You know
I mean,
what?
Halton.
I'm just gonna turn Dieth into a cloud so that he stops panicking.
Now I'm slow.
You're now cloud slow form.
Just take a few deep breaths and she'll turn you back.
Look how panicky he is as a cloud.
It's like wisps going everywhere.
He's look at his arms. They're going crazy. He's trying to yell at us. Do you feel better yet? I don't think he does. Give me an okay or like a peace sign or like. Nah, I'm gonna leave McCloud for a while.
Oh, okay.
All right, maybe he needs to cool down.
Yeah, I think so.
Escher,
Well, anyway,
Escher says to you, Paulton, as he sort of brushes your hair with his hand, that you could use a haircut, but there's no time.
Okay. Can I pull some persuasion on him?
Sure.
Okay.
What are you aiming to persuade him to do? He seems game for anything because he's pretty bored right now.
Well, I'm going to try and persuade him to help figure out how this doesn't go down.
Okay. He's like, have you learned to perform any tricks with that hand? Anyway, yes. So you're trying to get him on your side, basically. To
Yeah.
see things in a new light.
Yeah. And if this goes all right, I have an idea. Let's see. So that is a nat 20.
Oh,
Whoa!
Oh
Plus-
my god!
So that totals to 28. So I'm hoping that does it.
Holy.
Okay. I kind of didn't want that roll to go that well. Okay. So after he like brushes my hair off,
yes.
I put my hand on the side of his face and I lean into him and I just rest my forehead on his.
Okay.
And I say, the dark powers won't let this be, will they?
They always get their way.
It's like, if only there were some other way out of this, and then maybe this could actually happen.
You see that he sort of becomes lost in your eyes for a moment. And then he says, well, you didn't hear it from me, but if you can rid the fragment of Strahd from your shadow, then all of your problems could be solved. I am aware of a spell called Dispel Evil and Good. This spell can do it. And then he sort of says, but if it fails, and he hesitates to speak further on that point.
I ask him, what does this spell entail?
He tells you some of the things that he's learned, that it is an abjuration effect, and essentially it creates a shimmering energy that surrounds and protects you from fey, undead, and creatures originating from other planes like fiends and things. And so they have a hard time attacking you and that kind of thing. It's protective, but you can then discharge the spell and cause it to dismiss a celestial, an elemental, a fey, a fiend, or an undead that you come into contact with, that you touch. And if you do, and if it succeeds, that creature is banished away. And since your shadow has got Strahd basically in it, or a fragment of it, you would essentially banish that fragment, and it would have nowhere really to go except into oblivion.
I ask Escher, I say...
He tells you that the only thing keeping your shadow from rejoining you is the fragment of Strahd inside, because it's not time. You're not on the side of the dark powers yet.
I ask him, I say, would you do that for me?
I can't cast that spell. But there is someone who can.
And who's that?
The abbot presiding over your wedding. The father of the bride. Now you recall having met the abbot in the Abbey of St. Markovia. You recall having met his construct, the beautiful flesh golem Vasilka. You recall Evelyn, back when she was flesh and blood, using her divine sense on the abbot and detecting that he was a celestial. A celestial who, for whatever reason, was in league with Strahd. He says, Escher says, I can smell somewhere deep down in that rotten form of his a lingering goodness that wants to get out. It wants to do the right thing. He sort of says that with some disgust.
Where,
He says, but the abbot is not the human he pretends to be. Something much more powerful.
Uh-huh.
The Dark Powers have a great interest in him as well. They could have made him the Dark Lord, if not you. Except for that lingering goodness in him.
And,
If only you had a way to compel him.
uh-huh. Where is this feller?
Well, he arrived with the bride. I assume he's overseeing final preparations in the chapel.
If I may, I'd like to maybe have a word with him before.
He says, I think that can be arranged.
I say,
He'll stand up and sort of extend his hand to take yours.
mhm. I take his hand.
All right.
I can show you the shining, shimmering, splendid.
Yes. So
Tell me
unless you have somewhere else you'd like
now
him to
when
take you
did-
right now, he will take you downstairs as by the most direct route to the chapel.
Yeah, I think I just want to talk to this guy.
Okay. Escher will command Leaf to have the suit ready by the time they return. That seems to throw... There's a veiled threat involved, and Leaf becomes very pale and nervously goes back to finishing his hemming and hawing. And the other three of you... Evelyn, did you want to rejoin your friends, or do you want to kind of stay airborne?
Yeah, I rejoined them.
Okay. And you told them about, hey, let's burn down the chapel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I thought
Yeah,
what
the three of you
Strix
can see
said was a
the
good idea.
witches sort of fly down toward the castle. They kind of fall a little bit out of view. It almost looks like they're going to collide with one of the towers. They sort of descend so sharply. But they kind of pull up at the last moment and tap on one of the windows of one of the towers, and the window is opened for them.
I look at Dieth and I'm like, do you have some also previous relationship with these witches, or is it just the broom thing?
Smells.
He's not a cloud. All right, fine. Strix will just make him not a cloud. She'll be like, calm down, mister. You're not a cloud anymore.
Okay, good. It's mostly the broom thing.
You'll be fine.
If
If
We'll
there's any
protect you
brooms,
from the brooms. Don't worry.
I hate this place. I don't want to be anywhere.
It's all right. We'll get out of here as soon as we can.
Okay.
We just need
we
to get
all
Paulton.
hate this place.
You were the one who wanted to stop the wedding. I just want to take Paulton and leave.
Let's go down and stop the wedding. We need to do that.
Stop
Okay.
the wedding!
So let's go to the chapel. Whatever we have to do, if we have to set traps, if we have to make a scene, if one of us has to carry Waffles. Can you carry Waffles? I'll like point at Waffles.
Waffles. I take the harness. I put it on.
Okay.
I hadn't even really.
She doesn't need the harness anymore. She's walking on her own.
She's too big.
Yeah.
Is she too big to carry now?
She is a little awkward to carry now. Yeah. So she's got a gentle leader, basically a leash.
She has a leash?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually hadn't said hi officially to Waffles. I'd kind of been holding back because Evelyn is afraid that now that she's a robot that Waffles wouldn't love her anymore. So as soon as Strix is like, you hold Waffles, Evelyn kind of like gets down on one knee and kind of like holds out her hand to Waffles to see if Waffles will come to her.
Yeah, Waffles comes right over to you and just sort of wraps her big hairy paws around you.
Aww.
Evelyn would shed a tear if she could, but she can't. So
instead she makes a whirring noise.
She snuggles Waffles and makes whatever kissing noises she can, but it's more like a clicking sound, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from then on, I'll have Waffles' leash. She'll kind of like attach it to like a, some sort of ring on her side or something like that. She doesn't even have to hold it.
Yeah. There is the chapel in the back with the yellow windows.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some high windows up in the dome of the chapel, and then some ones that are closer down to what you assume to be the main level of the chapel. As you peer down at them, some of the windows have cracks and gaps in them, so there is a way to actually get into the chapel if you can descend safely, which I assume you can fly Evelyn, you have gaseous Dieth, and Strix can manage. So did you want to try to get to the chapel? I assume you think it would be easier to get to the chapel from outside the structure where you're not confused and befuddled by its labyrinthine design.
Yeah.
Also, I keep my eye out for anything that we could use as an accelerant.
Okay, you don't see anything like that. We could go back down into the castle to some rooms with, well, you didn't find a wine cellar or anything like that, but there you did see some oil lamps on hallway walls and some tapestries, some dried out tapestries and stuff. You could go back down into the structure and try to find those again.
Strix is like, don't worry, it'll be fine. And fireball, it'll be fine.
Strix does have a fireball or two. Okay.
Or 7.
It's kind of her thing.
So what are you using to get down to the chapel?
I will cloud Dieth again, but only as he starts to talk to me.
Okay.
I'll just fly.
Okay.
And then I'll misty step down to the top of it.
Oh, so you're basically misty step down to the roof.
Yeah, or however to get there,
Got it. Okay. So you could probably, with a couple misty steps, get to a window.
All right, that's what I'll do.
All right.
And then Dieth
Floats down very slowly, like this.
So as you guys float down to some of the high windows of the chapel and peer through, when you look inside, you can see that there are all kinds of candles lit all over the place. The whole interior is every candle in Castle Ravenloft and possibly Barovia has been brought here for this singular purpose and set aflame. So the whole place is lit up with candles and candelabras. The chapel is one big giant room with pews on the lowest level, and you can see more of these sort of straw-hatted witches moving the pews around to straighten them out because they were all in disarray before, and their brooms are moving around on their own accord, sweeping the floor and
I try to cover Dieth's misty eyes.
taking all the dust bunnies away. And so they're busying themselves with that. You can see a figure that you recognize as the abbot standing up by the altar, and he's kind of by himself, kind of resetting the altar, which was slightly crooked. It's an immensely heavy thing, but he doesn't seem to have too much trouble doing it on his own. And at the same time he's doing that, he's talking in low tones to a ghastly, emaciated figure dressed like a tattered peasant with tangled hair that you recognize as the young lad who was trapped in the cellar of the village church.
No, the first time we messed up.
Yeah, the first
our
time.
first
Yes.
mistake comes back.
Literally our first.
Yeah. So you see this emaciated young man, Doru, standing there, and he's wearing a tattered altar boy robe, and is basically just sort of nodding with his bloodshot eyes at whatever the priest says, and he's holding almost like a standard. It's a spear pole with a crest at the top of it. That looks like the crest of Ravenloft.
I look at Strix and I'm like, look, it's our old friends. I'm sure we should just go talk to them right
Strix
now.
is like,
In addition to the main floor, overlooking the chapel, closer to your height, is a balcony with a slightly protruding part that has 2 thrones. Currently, all you see on the balcony are 2 zombie guards standing next to a set of double doors that lead deeper into the castle. They're dressed in tattered castle livery, but they're so horrifically aged that their skin is sort of dry and taut on their bones, and everything about them is just on the verge of looking like they're about to fall apart. And they've got just vacuous stares. They're not aware of pretty much anything.
Okay, hear me out. But
Can we? Is he a cloud still?
What if Waffles is the ring bearer? Wouldn't that be cute?
That'd be awesome. And then you see Escher and Paulton enter the chapel on the ground floor. They come through a big set of double doors.
Is Paulton looking fly?
He is looking exactly like he did before. He's still in his raven getup.
Oh, okay.
So yes.
Yes. And yeah, so he's looking very fly. And then he and Escher are holding hands. And
They're holding hands.
yes. And they make their way down the aisle as though, in an instant, it's almost like they're the ones getting married.
Evelyn looks at Dieth and Strix like,
Strix is like, oh.
And Paulton, as you enter, you can see this grand chapel is lit with candles. There are witches in pointy hats, basically pointing as their brooms are sweeping the floor. They've straightened everything out, but the place is still kind of got bits of refuse and dust. Some of the witches have armfuls of shattered wood and pieces of glass in their arms and things like that. And then ahead of you, on the dais, is this black draped altar with the abbot dressed in his red and gold robes, a blazing sun image on his back, and he is having a conversation with a familiar vampire spawn who eluded you at the start of the campaign. And as soon as you walk in hand with Escher, that vampire spawn recognizes you instantly and just stares at you with fearful, bloodshot eyes. The abbot turns over his shoulder, his sort of ornate hat and habit, obscuring parts of his face, but can't hide his otherworldly beauty.
Mm. And do I see the rest of the party, or they're...
No.
Okay. So he's there, holding hands with Escher. Tweaked out boy. Okay. Okay.
this is so good. This tableau is amazing.
Shh. They'll hear you say tableau.
I like lean over to Escher, just like, that one, right?
Yeah, he points toward the abbot. You can see that the abbot has around his neck a symbol of the Morning Lord, a holy symbol. Antiquated compared to Evelyn's, but you recognize the symbol right away.
Okay.
And Escher will present you to him. He'll say, Lord Paulton, this is the abbot of St. Markovia's Abbey. And the abbot will extend a hand to you and say, we've met.
Quite.
And you see he's got a sort of a ruby ring on one of his long fingers that he holds out, expecting you to take it and kiss it.
We'll do such that.
All right. So you are now in direct contact with the abbot, standing before this black altar. The vampire spawn sort of, with his little crest, he sort of moves, so the abbot eclipses him.
Oh, poor little dude. We tried so hard, but we were such a bad party.
We've gotten a little better.
A little.
In some ways, worse.
And the abbot says, I trust you have prepared your vows, my son.
preparing something for sure. I ask him, could we have a word, maybe in private?
Of course. And he just waves, like very dismissively, waves Escher away. And Escher will bow before the abbot, and then he'll give you a smile, and he'll back off and then basically withdraw from the chapel.
I gave Escher a little wink, like on his way out.
He's grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn's like, she's like kind of tapping, like waiting for,
Yeah.
and when she sees the wink, it's like the tapping just intensifies.
Yes.
And she's just
And
like,
then Escher sort of makes a soundless, I'll just be out there. and
totally hand
walks
stop
walks
that.
quite confidently back out of the chapel. The three of you observing from above, I'd like you all to make perception checks to see if you notice something amiss.
15.
It's really hard to roll.
This is the highest I have ever
Oh, geez
rolled in
Louise.
perception in a session.
That is
21.
6. I got a 6.
21.
All right, Diath, you're the only one to notice that another figure has entered the scene, but is trying to do so discreetly. And it's on the upper balcony, so it's actually closer to you than anything else, but is clinging to the shadows because there's not much light on the balcony. All the light is coming from below, essentially. And so the balcony itself is casting a long shadow up the walls. You could only see the two zombies, basically, because of the little pinpoints of red light in their eyes and their dark, odd, ominous, eerie shapes. But the figure who has come up the staircase, the balcony staircase, and is just kind of lingering and kind of eavesdropping on the conversation below is a kind of horrifying-looking man. Big, built, brawny, bald for the most part, but one of his arms is unnaturally bigger than the other one.
How did we?
And you recognize him
They know.
as Strix's half
Goodbye!
brother, Isaac Strasny.
Everybody's
See you
here.
later.
Everybody. It's a big reunion.
What a guest list, damn.
And just by his posture and where he is, you're not sure that he's supposed to be here, but he is present nonetheless.
Nice knowing you.
As soon as I see that, or does Dia see that?
Diath sees that, but it's
okay.
up to Diath whether or not he wants to share that.
Yes.
Please don't.
Diaz immediately turns over to Strix and Evelyn.
At that point, the
When
two of
I-
you can see where he's casting his smoky fingers, and when you look on the balcony, yes, you can see the dark shape of Isaac.
I like
Strix will just,
protectively
like-
put my arm in front of Strix and like,
No, she'll just turn paler than she already is. Just like lose all the blood from her face. Just like.
I hold up Light or Treebane, and I kind of like look questioningly at her, like,
She's like. Also, she'll make Diath not a cloud anymore.
Oh, thank God.
All right, Diath, you are solid. Paulton, what do you say to the abbot, if anything?
Okay, so I remember what was the spell called?
Dispel evil and good.
So I say to him, I ask what he knows about that.
He tells you it's very powerful magic. Mm-hmm. It's magic of the true gods. But it's nothing more, nothing less.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't seem to have any sort of weird mysticism about it.
Okay.
It's like, oh yeah, that spell exists, and people cast it, and good stuff.
It's like, and that's something you might know, yeah?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so let me see.
He says, I sense that you have some misgivings about this ritual. that we are about to begin. Please don't. It's all for the best of the realm, I assure you.
I just say, like, is that how you really feel about all this?
You are the only one who can save Barovia now. You are the future of this land. Without you, everyone here will die.
No!
Ah. That does sound less than ideal.
He says, to embrace the dark powers is not a bad thing.
I'm just like, dark, bad. Okay.
He says, it is a way to bring order.
Shit. It's like, so if this ceremony doesn't happen, everyone dies, and that's it. There's nothing else.
He says, I'm not sure I follow. What other thing would you want to happen?
I don't know. It wasn't exactly
Where was
my-
your life taking you before you were brought here, my son? What true calling would draw you away from this place?
Well, although I don't want an entire land's worth of people to die, there are people that I don't think that I'd want to say goodbye to so soon.
Doru, the young boy behind you, the vampire teen, basically says, we're all dead already.
Look at the kid, I'm like, damn, dude, dark.
There's no one left to save. We're all damned.
I look back up at Yab and I'm like, anyway.
Make a perception check, Paulton.
Okay. That is a 19.
You see your friends way up high, perched on, looking through a window down at you 60 feet above as you cast your eyes furtively about the chapel.
How far are they?
About 60 feet up.
Is my hand still with me, right?
Yes. And as that thing crawls around, Doru's like, what the hell is that?
I was just like, oh, he's fine. Don't worry about him. And then, could I like subtly get the hand to go? Is there a way for him to get up there?
The hand, there are staircases on the ground floor that lead up to the balcony that overhangs the chapel. And then from there, you could probably climb up some tapestries and things to try to get up onto ledges near the hand. There is a path that you could trace up the walls.
Now I'm just wondering what it could even do up there. Yeah, let's, I guess let's just, huh?
It can do things that a disembodied hand can. Point, wave,
Yeah.
give him the finger, whatever.
Fair.
Thumbs up or thumbs down for
Thumbs
the
up,
general
thumbs
feel
down.
of the situation.
Yes.
True.
One of the witches says, "The guests are coming!" And she grabs hold of her animated broom and hastens out of the room. One of them says, "You, go check on Cyrus! Make sure the food is ready! You! Make sure the bride has everything she needs! Tell the bridesmaids to prepare!" The witches get all into a tizzy. The abbot just smiles at them.
That's weird.
Bridesmaids? Paul didn't even ask us if we wanted to be in the party.
All right. I feel
Could
like
I-
I'm left out.
Yeah,
I didn't even get an invitation.
Could I try suggestion on him?
You could attempt
Okay.
to cast a suggestion spell on him.
Yeah. Okay. That's...
Yeah, so you cast the spell. What suggestion are you going to plant?
I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna be like, look, like there's got to be a way that I'm just not aware of that this can work out, because I know it's like I feel like you're not stoked about this, and I'm not stoked about this. I feel like there's a way out of this, and I think you can help me.
All right, and you cast the spell. You see the spell washes over him harmlessly. Doesn't seem to affect him at all. And you see his countenance turn very, very dark, and he says, "You're wrong." You see materializing in his hand is a golden mace.
I'm sorry?
My
Like,
bad?
I'm like, whoa, dude, whoa now.
It's very ornate at the top of it. It almost could double like some sort of holy scepter. You see his eyes blaze with unnatural light.
I nudge Strix and I'm like, the flask! The flask!
Trixie's like, the what? Oh, right. She'll like go give you a piece of jerky.
You
and then
see
pull out the
big
flask.
feathered wings kind of come out behind him, and they're black.
I'm hitting her. The flask!
Strix just sees the wings and is just like, oh, balls!
Huh.
And he says, "You will do as the dark powers command.
Just like,
You will take a bride. You will sit on the throne of Castle Ravenloft, and you will fulfill your function as Dark Lord to these people. Is that clear?" Is that clear?
Crystal!
And that's where we'll stop for tonight.
The entire time, Evelyn just.
There's a lot of worrying going on, like
Click, 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 click.
I'm having a good time.
There's brooms in here. Just
There-
wait. Just wait.
Most of the witches have left. By the time the Deva started to show his Devaness, they were like, "Fuck it, we're out of here." So it's pretty much just Paulton, the Deva, and Doru left
And all
at
of
that
us
point.
and Ezek. Don't
Right.
forget Ezek.
Ezek loitering in the dark shadows.
Like a big all family reunion this week.
Yes.
Just
All right.
everybody.
So will there be wedding bells? We will find out during the next session, which will not be next week, because next week
Oh man.
is July 4th.
week.
So
But my wedding.
yes. We will pick up the week after that. Details to follow about what that episode's going to be all about. Anna, do you have your Misclicks game tonight?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to be playing Kellen the Emo Bard right after this on www.twitch.tv/misclicks.
Okay.
And I don't know if I can talk about that. This weekend I'm hosting an esports thing. That's really cool. So watch my Twitter for it, but they haven't told me I can say yet or not.
Okay. Then we'll say nothing, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. So I have no announcements. Holly, you're in Ireland. You're going to be back soon, I hope.
Yes, I'll be back on Sunday, but
Thanks for staying up
vlogs.
late to
How could I miss it? I couldn't. Now I'm gonna try and go to sleep and just be in bed with my eyes open, just like, oh God. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
This weekend is Anime Expo. I'll be there wandering about, so if you see me, please feel free to say hi. And weekend after that is Indie PopCon in Indianapolis, which I will be there along with everyone else from Normal Boots. But I would also love to say hi there and chat about D&D or whatever.
And I'll also be at Anime Expo. I'll be there Saturday. I have a panel at 12:30. I forget which room, but the schedule's up there. And then I have a signing meet and greet thing at 3 at Funimation's event over at Lucky Strike. So come say hi.
And finally, don't forget the Dice Camera Action subreddit.
Yes.
It's been getting on fire lately with some
It
really
is.
cool fan art and some really cool discussion. We really appreciate if you guys go in there and join in on that.
I lurk there all the time.
Me
Oh, yeah.
too.
Absolutely. We see everything and we love it. We love seeing the community that it's currently building. Is awesome to see.
Yep.
Awesome.
So after every episode, there's always a new thread that's stated, discussing this episode, and people automatically already go in there, throw up their favorite moments and start theorizing and the like.
I expect some fan art from this one, just saying. And fan stories as well.
Dude, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I try to post some stuff too there that like I write or do that doesn't end up on the show. In fact, I don't
Little
know if those
extra bits.
letters are what?
Little extra bits.
Yeah. And I don't know if those letters are ever going to come back up in role playing, so maybe I should post those there too. But I try to post that kind of stuff on the Reddit.
You do good. I get too nervous.
I get really nervous, but I'm trying to do things that make me nervous this year. 2017.
Good job.
The nervous year.
Yeah.
Dice Camera Action, the nervous year.
All right. Well, tune in 2 weeks then for the presentation of The Bride and other surprises.
Oh, come
Who
on.
is it?
No,
There's so
don't say
many
that.
people it could be.
Why do
Yeah.
you always say that? Or surprises?
Yep.
The chat and the subreddit always come up with things that I would never have thought of that then haunt me. Like they've come up with like 2 or 3 ideas of who the bride could be that have just blown my mind.
I always secretly fear Chris is gonna see them and be like, "Oh, that's a better idea," and just takes those.
It could happen.
That's
It
the
could
worst
happen.
part.
Yep. So I look forward to seeing how this plays out, because it could play out in 100 different ways.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think there might be a fight next week. I think the chances are pretty high.
Ethan has a lot of
really?
pent up energy.
Nothing like him through all Constantine on our ass.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, cheerio. Thank you, one and all, for listening in, and to my wonderful players, as always. You guys are amazing. You make this possible.
Thanks, friends.
Yay.
We try.
Yep. I'm sorry I torture you on a weekly basis.
No, you're not.
Okay. We enjoy it.
I get for this. Plus, the Bat King, should be a thing. I'm just saying.
Right.
That's fair.
All right.
Okay. Cheerio.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for
Have a happy
watching.
4th of July week.
Yeah.
Yay. See you at some conventions, maybe.